Hey everybody, welcome back to another RSG stream. This is the Mageduckey Ship Spectacular or the Spectacular Ship Show, where we break everything down for PvP and ships. And of course, I'm one of your hosts, Rangerj1999, and of course, we have the one and only Mageduckey himself, who's here to break ships down. What's going on, bud?
Not a whole lot. Really excited about the new ship that we have.
Yep. We're going to break down the ship, and then Ducky is going to do some PvP and break down some PvP battles. We've got Ducky's screen up, so we can take a look at his roster and how he approaches ships and everything. Of course, I'll do some battles, and then of course we're here to answer your questions. So if you have questions pertaining to ships that you want to get into, but I can't talk all of a sudden. If you have questions about ships, then please get your questions in. Of course, we also have the super chat going, so if you want to help support the channel and all the great content that we've been putting out, please feel free to donate. You can do the super chat option on the bottom, and you get your name highlighted. It flashes big. You can put a little code in there and everything, so it's pretty cool. So go ahead and get your questions in now. If you have any questions pertaining to ship PvP, that's what we're here to do. So with that, we are going to take a look at the new Gauntlet Starfighter, and we're going to have Ducky break it down and kind of give you an assessment of what he thinks of the ship, and then we'll take it from there. So Ducky, it's all yours.
So first of all, what I think is that it's not the right model. However, they did acknowledge that, and they are working to either change the name or change the model. Personally, I don't really think it's that big of a deal because the ship itself is pretty fantastic, in my personal opinion. So, looking at the abilities themselves, the basic is going to do, you can't see it here, I do have swgh.gg pulled up on the side. It is going to deal roughly 19,000 raw physical damage, which is a little on the low end for basic attacks. However, it is a support ship, so don't be looking to it for damage. And when you pull out the damage lens on your focus on it, it doesn't really matter that it's only 19. It's not as bad as Cassian's 16,000. So definitely could be worse. However, Cassian's on basic grants himself 25% turn meter. The Gauntlet grants another random ally up to 20% turn meter. Now, if this functions like Biston's another random ally, it could give it to the Gauntlet, which would be unfortunate. But if it properly only targets other allies, it's a great way to speed up your fleet, and going off of the unique that we'll look at here in a second, is a great way to jumpstart the opening string of combat and speed up your ships, similar to how Biston does it. Speed up your ships so that you can go before they're normally supposed to in order to get a jump start on the enemy. The unique superior maneuverability gains flat 20 speed and then an additional 5 speed for each other active Empire ally. So what that means, for reference, it's base speed at max, so assuming you've got Gar and Commando up to 7-star max gear and everything. So down the road, the ship is going to have 151 base speed. With the plus 20, just by itself, you have no other Empire ships, it's going to be 171 speed, which puts it right around the Akbar and Vader range in terms of opening turn order at max stats, which is pretty good.
Yeah,
but then
it
if you
is.
stack, you what?
I said no, it is.
Yeah, and so if you stack other Empire ships with it, if we don't currently have a 5th Empire ship to run with it, but once we get that 5th Empire ship, preferably 6th, so you don't have to run Reaper, then this ship would actually be faster than TIE Fighter Pilot at max, because it would get an additional 20 to have a total of 191 speed. Poe is 193, and TIE Fighter Pilot is 190. First Order TIE Pilot 189 with his Zeta. And so what that means is that, again, at max, or at the very least assuming equivalent crew rating and a full Empire fleet, what you could do is, I'm going to kind of jump around here a little bit, pardon me, is you could use Commando's ability to inflict buff immunity on Biggs before the enemy's TIE Fighter can drop a target lock and activate his Big's taunt. So it wouldn't work all the time on defense because the AI might not target baits, but on offense it would be a great way to just open a gaping hole in the enemy's defenses, making it a lot easier to attack higher level fleets. Additionally, the Gauntlet grants 20% defense to all allies, doubled for Empire allies. Now, it's been a while since I've done the actual map, but I'm pretty sure half or a little over half of our ships that we have are attackers. Attackers, as a general rule of thumb, there are a couple of outliers, have around 24% armor. It's 24% damage mitigation. Adding 20% to that is going to be an extra 5% mitigation, going from 24 up to 29%. That's not really significant. It's not. However, TIE Fighter, Reaper, and Vader would jump from 24 up to almost 34, so that's almost a 10% additional reduction in damage. And should we get an Empire tank at some point, which is something I'm personally desperately hoping for, tanks generally have around 40% armor. Having 40% additional defense would then give it a 16% increase, meaning it would negate over half of all incoming damage. So the Gauntlet desperately wants to have an Empire tank, preferably one with a self-taunt, in order to function best. However, it can certainly be run without the Empire tank since we don't yet have it. Reinvigorate, Gar Saxon's ability, dispel all debuffs on all allies and grant them protection up 20% for 2 turns, doubled for Empire allies. Again, something that is great for the fleet as a whole without an Empire tank. But because protection up is based on health, 40% protection up on an Empire tank is going to be, 30, 40k additional health that the enemy has to chew through, assuming they don't dispel. But the AoE cleanse and the AoE protection up, even at only 20%, if you're not running Empire ships with it, is still pretty sizable for sustain. You cut out, once you've killed the enemy Vader, you can immediately drop target locks to prevent Tarkin damage boost or mace AoE. You can drop dots applied by Wedge. You can drop offense defense down from 5s. So it has a lot of really good uses, and then has the protection up to help both hurting and undamaged ships gain a bit of survivability. And then lastly, as we mentioned earlier, Commando's ability to deal physical damage and inflict buff immunity for 2 turns. Now, the increased duration would be a ship Omega ability. I believe that this is one of the few that is definitely guaranteed to be worth it. Because others are like, that's a damage boost, which is certainly nice, but you can get by without it. You don't have to have it. Increasing buff immunity duration from 1 to 2 turns, especially when the cooldown is only 3 turns, is a very large increase in uptime on the debug. So definitely worth using Omegas on. Gar Saxons is not. You only get 2% additional protection up, so not worth it for the time being until they become more easily applied. So there's that. I think you said you wanted me to show off my roster a little bit.
Is that everything for Gar Saxon, the ship?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Basically, it's a fairly potent support ship now. It gets even better when you stack it with Empire ships. So thinking more along the lines of a general target lock team, and then it will become absolutely amazing once we get an Empire tank.
So we already have a question from Rob Martinez. He says, "Hey Ducky, does the Gauntlet give the defensive bonus if it's in your reserve, or does it only work if it's active?"
This I don't know. We do know that the Ghost is currently bugged and does apply the speed down from reinforcements and after death. That one is easily noticeable because it's a debuff. The defense bonus is not as noticeable, especially since most ships are not Empire and are not, and there's no Empire tanks, so we're not seeing a 16% additional damage reduction. We're seeing like 5%, and that could very well fall within close to the range of damage variance that the game applies. So we don't know. However, I'm sure if this one is bugged like the Ghost, then it would be fixed alongside the Ghost. And they've said that the Ghost is getting fixed. We just don't have an ETA on
Okay. All right. So go ahead and I guess you want to show off your roster and what you're using, so for the
that.
people out there in TV land, so they can kind of get an idea of what does Ducky do for ship PvP.
I don't know if it should be considered showing off, but I will say I'm really proud. Slave One is one shipment away from 7 star, so I'm
Mm,
feeling really good on that. Haven't had one in several days, and then had one, and then before that hadn't had one in like a week.
mm.
Um, so it's
I've been getting
it's
a
slow
lot of
going.
Scimitar lately, like back to back to back. It's been really
Hmm.
weird.
Yep, I got a lot of those. I've actually also personally recently been getting Visted at least once, if not twice a day. That's how he's up to 7 stars now. But yeah, Scimitar is 3 shipments away from 7 star. First Order is 7, unfortunately. Imperial TIE Fighter is what, like 18. So a ways off on that one. But Biggs is maxed, Sunfac, Piston are maxed. And these 8 right here actually are my PvP team. Because I have spent very little on the game, as you can see, the rest of my roster is pretty lackluster. Uh, Poe simply there for the speed challenge. Soldier and Consular are there because they were strong early on in ships when we didn't have as much of the synergy stuff worked out. There's my spy, my sad investment in spy.
Mm.
I'm just gonna leave it up on screen for a moment so everybody can laugh at me, make fun of me.
No,
Hey,
I'm. Hey, what's up,
hey,
brothers? How
look who
y'all doing?
jumped in! It's
Why, hello
Brown,
there,
the
Grande.
Brown Gandalf himself, the beardless one. I think we've been able to pull you out of. Man, you got some more time for good behavior from prison, from stealing the
I
government
did.
Wi-Fi.
It's either that or getting off of having to do kid duty at swim meet. But
Okay.
either way, it works out great. I will tell you, Mageduckey, you and I both have. I've invested a little bit more into spy, and I'm really discouraged. I did it, so people can laugh at me too for that.
You
At,
must,
at
I mean,
one at one point, we thought it was going to be great for about 3 days, right?
I was suckered in for I think almost a full week. The Tuesday that it came out up until I think it was either Saturday or Sunday.
Anyway,
Um,
it was a little bit. There was a little bit of time that we were
yeah.
like, "Oh, this is going to."
However, but so Spy, as we talked about actually in last week's stream, Spy has a lot of potential if he gets a rework, and so I'm hoping that he gets changed up a bit here. And if he does, so at that point, maybe your investment will be justified. But until then, yes, cry in the corner in sorrow.
mm-hmm.
As you can see, I've pretty much totally avoided the clones and Republic in general. Ahsoka, Gear 7, simply for the defense challenge. Consular there. Phantom, Ghost, Gauntlet, all untouched level. So the Phoenix crew, I got it to level 50 so that I could apply mods if needed for the event because we didn't know how hard it was going to be, and it's mostly free to play. I hadn't invested a whole lot of gear because I wasn't planning on using them. So I got them up to 50 just to be able to dump arena mods on them if needed to complete the event to get my ship blueprints. But otherwise, nothing done with those. Nothing done with Mace's capital ship. Akbar's a little bit only because I started out with him. Wedge, because I finished most ships from Galactic War that I care about, I've been starting to get Wedge simply because he does hit pretty hard. And I'm sure eventually at some point I'll have to build up Wedge as a character. So I'm just kind of slow farming that because I'm running out of other options. Reaper, Kylo Ren, Cassian, all of those, nothing going on there because I can't afford it.
So, two questions here. One is, I don't know if this is a serious question from Octave Connections. when is Cup going to get a ship or Mob Enforcer?
Neither. There, come on.
Come
Maybe
on.
Cup might get a ship. I think he actually did fly a ship in one of the Coruscant Underworld Police did have some kind of ship they flew around on Coruscant, but I think it was just it wasn't like a outer space ship. It was just kind of like a thing that levitated off the ground.
Kind of like the speeder in Episode 2 that Anakin picks up to go chase after Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
it's a vehicle. It's not a spacefaring vehicle.
Right. So I don't think you'll ever see them with ships.
No, I don't think so
No.
either. And then we have a couple questions that are interlocked between Sir Loki and Steve V. Really asking is the Gauntlet worth it as overall, and is it worth it as pay to play?
It's worth it overall for free to play. It's worth it down the road if Gar and Commando don't go Hard Node and Cantina 8. If they're a little bit easier, say a couple of different shipment locations, then it would definitely be worth investing in as free to play. As pay to play, as I said earlier, it's not going to live up to its full complete potential until we get an Empire tank. However, it has a lot of interesting potential as a second reinforcement for pay to play, because it comes in and instead of a lot of people run Jedi Consulate or a tank in second reinforcement with the idea of adding a little bit of sustain coming in, because your Maul is first, right? So you're big, so whoever your main tank goes down, you bring in Maul, you've dropped Retribution, you got the damage boost from stealth. After the guy with Retribution dies or stealth wears off, and then they pick off another ship, then a lot of people bring in Consular to heal up somebody with the protection up, the protection recovery. Or me personally, as you'll see, I bring in Sun Fac because he is a taunt against the multitude of Akbar and Mace that are out there. But what you could do is instead throw in the Gauntlet at max. So he's granting, without the Omega, 18% protection up. He's cleansing all of the debuffs. He's basically helping to give your entire fleet a little extra boost on survivability. So yes, for pay to play, I see the ship, not necessarily the characters, but the ship having potential right now, even without an Empire tank. And once we do get an Empire tank, the potential will increase even more.
All right. Question from good old Maurice. Question: I want. Well, it was retracted. Never mind. He took it back. So if he puts it back up there, Maurice, put it back up there. We'll get to it. So.
It said okay because it's still showing on mine. If you want me to go ahead and
check it again. Mine just said message retracted.
Oh. Mine isn't. So I'll go ahead and just cover it then. He said, question, I want to have a finisher come off the bench. I'm torn between Poe or Wedge. I use Akbar Capital. So both of those, actually, if you don't mind, I'm going to pop over to the other screen. I'm actually going to pull both of those up on Swigo just to make sure that I'm up to date on their health before I say anything. So Poe is going to have 92k health with standard armor, and Wedge is going to have 90k health with standard armor. So they got basically the same amount of survivability in that regard. However, Poe does have Bolt from the Blue, which will give offense up and foresight for 2 turns. There it is. So his Bolt from the Blue here gives him turn meter, so he's going to be dealing damage again soon. He gets offense up, which will help him do more damage, recovers protection after the initial hit, and gains foresight so he can survive a hit. This ability would take away from him dealing damage immediately, but it does help him have more sustain than Wedge. The difference, though, is that Poe's Perfect Shot deals 49,000 damage raw damage, whereas Wedge's deals 48,000. However, Wedges gets 10% additional damage for each detrimental effect. So Pose is a guaranteed crit that can't be evaded once if they don't have protection and they fix the bug. Whereas Wedges has a higher damage cap if you're going with a debuff focused fleet. So like if you're running a target lock fleet, Wedge is probably the better bet, simply because he's going to be able to capitalize on Vader's debuffs that he applies from the Dispel and then the target locks that you would have out there. Poe is better for the more like standalone fleet where you've got like a Biggs and Boba and Consular and you just kind of mix and match. Then Poe would be better.
Okay.
Yeah, ironically enough, with Rebels, you're probably better off with Poe.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Especially because with the foresight, and then he gives himself offense up, which the AoE, Akbar's AoE late game, you're going to probably get that off a second time. Has a chance of pulling him for the protection up and everything. So
I guess it depends on who you have at gear 10 or gear 11, right? I mean,
yeah. But yeah, I guess I was assuming both were max.
I think
if one is
good old Maurice definitely has Poe done because I know he runs a resistance team. He has a really good resistance team. I'm not sure about his Wedge. I'm sure his Wedge is done as well, though. So yeah.
Oh yeah. So if one is higher than the other on crew rating on completion, then go with that. If they're both equal, like they're both basically all maxed out, then I would say Wedge if you're target lock fleet, Poe if you're a non-target lock, non-debuff fleet.
Sweet. All right. So go ahead and get your questions in. If you have more questions, we will get to them. That being said, let's see you do some battles there, Mage Ducky.
All right. So
Dun, 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 dun,
Here we go. This is what everybody's been waiting for a week.
dun, 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 dun.
okay, so here I'm going to go after Nico.
Wow.
Because one, he has Maul in his starting lineup, and I personally really enjoy punishing people who use Maul in their starting lineup because that's not where he belongs.
Okay.
However, having played against him multiple times in the past, so I'll go ahead and show ranks, I guess, real quick. As you see, I'm rank 9 right now. Ranks 1 through 4 generally stick to themselves. It's not often that people break into the top 4. And then 5 down through probably 12 or 14, we all kind of mix and match, rotate around. Very rarely I'll get dropped down to around the 20 range, but that's only once every other week or so. And there are a couple of people that run Maul in their starting fleet. But so for the I mentioned that just to say that the majority of the guys that I fight are the same guys. I've been fighting mostly the same guys for the last 2-3 months easily.
Right. Yes.
And so to this day, I still forget what people's reinforcements are. You'd think I would know them better. But I do know that against Nico, when if I don't get good opening target lock RNG, I actually sometimes lose because Rex will go next, heal and speed up Maul, who will then drop Retribution onto Rex. And by that point, I've usually used my target locks on attempts on Maul. I don't have it on Rex, so then I can't dispel right away with Vader. When that particular set of circumstances happens, I usually lose. But as long as that doesn't happen, okay, that is new. His first order TIE pilot normally doesn't go first, so that's definitely a surprise.
So he upgraded.
Yes, he did upgrade. So here I'm just going for the kill on Maul. Now here we have Jedi Consular didn't do the assist attack. I don't know why, but it's saving me. So I'm going to use the AoE here to go for the ability block, hoping that Maul gets ability blocked, which he did. And now I could focus down Maul, but Biston and TIE Fighter Pilot First Order are both about to go. So instead I'm going to reinforce with a damage dealer to attempt to boost my my board presence. and go for the kill because I don't like him. Alright. Now here, I'm trusting that Biston will pick up, that Biston would pick off Maul. However, with Rex, if First Order tries to land a target lock on Poe and doesn't succeed, then the debuff would recover protection. The denied debuff would recover protection, and that would be bad. I probably should have done basic there to recover protection on Biggs, but oh well. I make mistakes too.
Dun, 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 dun.
Here I'm just going to spread debuffs. Fortunately resisted. So here I'm actually going to go against the mantra of Tarkin, which is to spread debuffs, and I'm actually going to try to focus down one ship at a time. The reason for that is because he has Rex. And so if I try to spread debuffs and then fail because of Rex's unique, then I'm going to be healing up everybody I just damaged and setting myself back.
Nice
That was a fortunate dodge. Yeah,
a really fortunate dodge.
Yeah, that
I could have gotten by
never
without
get that.
Yeah, I could have gotten by without it, but I'm really glad that I did get it.
Agreed.
So here, I'm moving next with First Order TIE Pilot, so that's why it was safe to spread a target lock, because Strafe likely would have destroyed any protection that Poe would have recovered. He's an attacker, so he doesn't have as much. So now I have two options. Again, I can focus down First Order, or I can go on Rex. Honestly, by now, I normally would have gone for the kill on Rex, but I have the opportunity to kill his backline damage dealers, so I might as well. And with advantage and expose, he's dead. Now we focus on Rex over 5s, because Rex does have the annoying unique. He's bringing in Wedge, who will go for the kill. Unfortunate, but honestly, by now the damage has been dealt. I'm going to switch over to Wedge because he's a far bigger threat than Rex's unique. 25s, meh. Now here we have two options. My Sunfac is not as geared as I would like him to be, so I am going to bring in Maul. There's a very small chance that Rex is going to apply a target lock for 5s to then dispel. Otherwise, the only downside is the offense and defense down, which isn't the worst thing that could happen. And here, I'm actually going to go for the seismic charge because of the % damage that it would do, since I currently have offense down. My basic wouldn't do all that much damage anyway. So I might as well go for just optimizing as much damage as I can. And there's the stun. Yay, thank you, Sunfac, you suck.
Shooter!
So there's actually, honestly, a chance that I will lose this, simply because I was not expecting the upgrade to First Order TIE Fighter that he had. Yeah, no, it was not. This is the first battle in months that his First Order TIE Fighter's gone before mine. So it's most unfortunate, especially since mine's about to die.
But you're one cooldown away from your AoE.
Yes, but the AoE doesn't... It has a lot of misses still. They haven't fixed that bug yet. So... and another problem is I'm out of damage dealers. I have Maul and Biston, who are... oh, that dodge was annoying. Yeah, so basically I've run out of damage. Also, I didn't know about it, but the damage immunity is going to be very poorly timed as well. So I didn't do the offense up there because it would boost my guys forward and turn meter before before the damage immunity was off, wasting it. I really wish I could apply it to Maul himself. Because the ability, let's read the ability. It says target ally, not target other ally, but target ally. So he should be able to select himself, but he's not, which means that they need to update the
text.
The text, yes, please.
That was fortunate.
You better hurry up. You got a minute left.
I'm gonna lose it anyway. So
are you? Now with that attitude, Mr. Man,
it's gonna be a little tough.
Yeah, because I have 2 supports that don't deal damage against Mace, who's doing taunts.
Do your AoE!
So if this picks off the 2 back lines, then maybe.
Oh, man. It was close.
Now here, I'll go ahead and finish off Sunfac. And so basically,
it's a crapshoot on now, basically.
Yep. But see, auto is bad because right there, I would have been better off with the basic for expose. So, I would like to say that this will be only the 2nd time in the entire history of ships that I've ever timed out, simply because I'm talking for people.
Yeah.
So, I blame it on you.
Okay. Blame it on us.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, please kill me. Yes, I didn't time out. I would rather lose than time out. So, for the record, I normally absolutely destroy his fleet. First Order TIE Pilot had an upgrade that I was not aware of.
All right,
so this is a problem of facing the same enemies every single day, as you get kind of complacent. You don't usually check to see if they've updated stuff or not.
All right, so I have a question, then I'll go ahead and do a battle while we're waiting for you.
Gear 11, yep, right there. See.
You see it from CV.
Gear 11.
CV, I have a Gear 11 Rex. Should I get his ship? I have Akbar Capital. I run BF, Vader, Biggs, Biston, and TFP.
Rex, no. I mean, you can certainly be like slow farming it on the side because it is such a rare ship in the fleet store. It might be worth it to pick it up whenever it's there, just in case you ever decide you want to switch over to use it, or like maybe other Republic ships come out that make a Mace fleet desirable. Then, you would already have part of that long slow farm started, but you wouldn't be farming him for your current fleet. No.
Okay. Go ahead and get your questions in, guys. While we do some battles here. I'm doing a battle. I'm sure Ducky will see it eventually and be like,
Yeah, so he has his at gear 11, which is 186 speed. Mine is only gear 8.
That's what made the difference then.
Yeah, but my gear 8 First Order TIE Pilot regularly goes first most of the time. Oh, sorry, gear 9. My bad. Gear 9. He's actually only 2 pieces away from gear 10. But it's a furnace and design tech. So like I'm not gonna. I have, as mostly free to play, I have a very hard time investing in pilots simply because they're pilots. Now, when ships first came out, I was definitely very focused on that. But I have paid the price in switching from droids to Zader, and now from Zader over to the number 1 Rex team. Number 1 most popular, anyway, Rex team. And so all of that gearing up has forced me to abandon my ship, my crew member gearing. So that's something I'm hoping to focus on after I get the Rex team going, is to get First Order TIE Pilot up, and then Biggs, who's only gear 8. He's 7-star, but only gear 8, and yet he tanks like a champ for me right now. So once I get, since gear, of course, is the most the highest contributing factor to crew rating, once I get him up a bit in gear, then he'll be able to tank more as well. So
Hmm.
that'll be nice.
Now, you can stick with the Tarkin fleet, or are you eventually going to move on to a different fleet? Are you pretty satisfied with the Tarkin fleet right now?
Oh, okay. I just got knocked back to 12th, so we're going to take down the guy who just beat me. Next. Um, I will probably stick with my Tarkin fleet for right now, simply because it takes like okay, so ships have a fairly high barrier to entry in that you got to gear up the characters, start the characters in order for the ships to be good. Now, I love that mechanic. I love how it forces you to tie ships back into the main game and develop. You can't develop one roster completely irrespective of the other roster.
Right.
And so I personally appreciate that. I know not everybody does, but I do. The problem is that is not that one ship requires one or even two crew members. See, three crew member ones are pretty much only for whales. But the problem with ships, part of the problem with ship diversity and expanding, going to different fleets as free to play, is that it's not just that one ship that you have to gear up, right? Like Rex, for instance. Steve over here with wondering if he should get Rex. He shouldn't invest in Rex's ship because he doesn't have a fleet that can properly house it. If he had, so in order to use Rex, he then has to switch over and get ideally, a consular or fives, other stuff to build around Rex. And so now it's not just I have to gear up one ship. I have to gear up two or three, maybe even four ships before this one ship is viable in my fleet by changing my fleet over. And so that I think is a big problem with fleet diversity versus character, regular squadron unit diversity. But here we are, Mr. Zulu there took my number 9 spot.
No, go for 8. Kill him.
No, because the first order TIE pilot
Quit being afraid.
It has a good chance of landing a target lock. So briefly talking about my fleet, just because I don't know when the last time was that I talked about a target lock fleet. You've got Biggs, obviously, as the tank. Biston for the speed up. Vader as a form of dispel, makes your target locks permanent, especially against an Akbar. Boba, tankiest attacker and pretty solid attacker all around. In my personal opinion, he's number 1 in the game. And then first order for the speed. You got Maul first reinforcement as the pseudo taunt, Sun Fact second for the this additional sustain, and then TIE Fighter pilot and third as the finisher to kind of come off the line and say, hey, I'm on my third reinforcement. I need to deal damage to kill you first. It also works on offense anyway, to sub him in earlier if, as you saw in the last fight, I lose first order or something early on, then I'll bring him in before Maul, just for the extra damage output.
Shooter.
So here, the biggest threat on this team would be between, right now, immediately, would be either Rex or Ahsoka. I'm going to target Ahsoka because when Maul comes out, I want her dead so she doesn't dispel. I'm loving the dots. Now here, so Rex is going to do protection recovery on Ahsoka, but it doesn't do a whole lot. So with Vader's guaranteed target lock, I'm going to spread. See, no love lost there. And we'll do a nice big AoE. Spread some target locks. And here I'm going to go for the AoE simply because I want to kill Boba. Oh, and I got a full board target lock, or ability block rather. So that's nice. Target lock 5s because he's the most likely to end up on the back line, right? Because Sunfac auto taunting and then Biggs taunting once they land a target lock. They land a target lock. So here we're just Biggs was at full health, so I use the strafe crew ability to deal as much damage as possible. Goodbye, Sunfac.
Grande, did you want to show some battles?
Yeah, I might hook in and show a battle. I'm just playing around against the guy sitting in first.
Is it Ewokin?
No, Ewokin's sitting in third at the moment.
Oh my god.
Well, it's after his payout.
I'm just used to Ewokin always being number 1.
In his number one a lot. Yeah.
So as you can see, this guy's fleet is much easier to beat because Biggs has not taunted the entire game. Like the only reason Biggs is doing anything is because I'm focusing him down before 5s, just because I feel like it. Otherwise, Biggs has been a non-factor the entire game. So if you're using Biggs and you're not using regular target locks, this is what your fleet looks like 2 minutes into the match. So don't use Biggs without target locks. Bugs me. Super easy fleets to kill, so I don't mind it when I have to attack them. But another slight rant. Seismic Charge currently does not completely ignore protection and armor. I'm pretty sure it's the percentage damage that's doing that. So right here, I should be able to drop Seismic Charge because Biggs has yellow health. He would just disintegrate. He would just, boop, by Biggs. Instead, it's bugged and he would still be alive. So, there's another small rant. Shim off so there can't be any kind of healing shenanigans going on. Target lock, kill, and I would do it on auto, but as we saw earlier, on auto, it often takes longer. So. This into Boba Basic, and that's game. So you can go ahead and switch over. There's that.
Another a win for Ducky.
Yay.
Then we'll switch to Grande, who can do a match.
Have one up in like 13 seconds, yeah.
Well, we'll go ahead and answer to me. Grande is going for number 1, I think.
I am.
Oh my god. So powerful for Grande.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. Here we go.
Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da.
Yeah. His fleet is definitely overpowered than mine.
So overpowered, you're gonna die.
So I can tell you, it's not going well whenever I lose Vader right off the bat.
You're already going down.
It makes it a little tough. And I have 0 target locks on yet, which makes it also tough. You're like, nope, not hitting a single target lock. Oh, it makes it tough.
Yep. So, and as you saw, so in my fight against Nico, his first order TIE pilot went first. The only reason that mattered was because it applied a target lock. It also happened to shoot a second time crit. I'm pretty sure at least one of the times, stripping protection and giving pro guaranteed crit on a yellow health Vader and killing him. But that's beside the point. The primary thing was the target lock, right? So that I couldn't touch the back line. No, I'm still full screen, so I'm watching this on YouTube.
You're watching it on YouTube, so you're like a little bit. I mean, it's a slow death. Is effectively what's happening.
Oh, are you almost dead then?
No, I'm not almost dead, but you know, I mean, most of my guys are really low on protection, and or really low on health, and I've already brought in 1 reinforcement, and he's getting ready to bring in another reinforcement. So it makes it, it just makes it tough. You're trying to decide whether or not you want to spread target lock or whether or not you want to try to finish off 5s.
Yep.
I'm probably going to go for 5. So I finished off 5s because I felt like that was the better call, because I knew that and this way we got the retribution on the Vader ship, which is an interesting it's an interesting call.
Yeah, it's because he was the tankiest at the time.
Yeah, he was the tankiest one there.
And so,
but I would like to. I mean, he was probably the number 2 damage dealer on the team, so that's why it was okay to have him as the one that
got away.
Yeah, the one that got the retribution, and then we got. See, it makes it tough because now you're here and you're like, their whole team has that that immunity buff, that damage immunity buff.
Now you can kill Vader. Kill him! Oh no.
No, because now they gave the taunt to first order.
Shoot her!
I kind of really just want to kill Vader, but
Don't we all?
I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, let's finish off old Vader. Kill old Vader! Then kill old Scimitar!
It's like, come on! No, it's gonna be a death for Grande.
Damn
Well,
it.
you're not alone. It was a death for Mageduckey.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you're going up with somebody as powerful as Dragon's Blood, I don't feel quite so bad, you know. I mean, the guys has a really strong.
Alright, I'll go in if you do one battle. I'm gonna do battle. I'm gonna go in there and be all powerful.
I feel bad simply because I normally walk over that guy's fleet. He throws in a Gear 11 First Order TIE Pilot, and I get stopped.
Well, that goes back to one of the things that you talked about, though, as far as putting gear and gear levels on a character can make a huge difference.
Yep.
Especially if you were at a very low level, and then like if he went up 2 or 3 levels, maybe he was saving gear for that character. Maybe he's working that character in some kind of a heroic AAT lineup, because there are a few heroic AAT lineups that actually use First Order TIE Pilot now. So that may have been just like an added bonus that it helped him out in ships. Who knows?
True. He also has the extra 15% multiplier because he's got a 7-star ship, whereas mine is only 6 stars. So he went from 1.35 up to 1.5 multi. And then the gear that he has would be 2 plus. Yeah, I mean he's 186 speed. I'm 171. So he's way ahead of me. On the bright side, he is still 2 off of the non-Zeta max speed of 188, and he hasn't put the Zeta on, so he cannot reach the absolute max speed. I'm not going to put a Zeta on. So at some point we'll be tied until he does Zeta, but I'm hoping he doesn't, and then that way we would be tied, and I would at least have a chance at winning the coin toss.
Alright, if you guys have questions, get them in. Get your questions in. That's what the show's for, to answer your questions. Show our lineups. Be powerful.
So, something to note, I guess, is that with Grande's and Ranger's fleets, using Mace and Akbar respectively, you guys don't necessarily have to spread target locks. It's nice for the capital ship AoE.
Yes.
Mace needs it for cooldown, and both of them want to be hitting multiple target locks for First Order TIE Pilot, so that he can be sped up. But Tarkin, essentially, I don't play Tarkin the way you're supposed to play him, in a sense, because I will often target lock like 2 enemies and then focus down one of them, whereas Tarkin wants to be spreading debuffs to the whole team. And it's usually just because they have, they've got a Vader or an Ahsoka or a First Order TIE Pilot, some like a priority target that I want to kill. So it's difficult, in my opinion, to fully properly use Tarkin's unique, and that's the primary reason you run Tarkin. So,
Not seeing any questions, so make sure you get your questions in. Get your questions in, fellers.
yeah, get them in while you can, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm just over here kicking ass, taking names, representing Team Ducky.
Nice. Glad somebody on the stream is. No offense to Grande, but he and I both lost.
What? Sorry.
Oh no, just Ranger said that he's over there kicking butt and taking names, and I was like, at least somebody on the stream is.
Well,
Yeah.
you won your last battle.
You did win your last battle.
Yeah, I did.
So
But I
really,
lost one.
Grande's the only loser here.
Yeah. For some reason, I can't go from second to first.
I'm a losing winner. I will say, on days that I do my full 5, which is not every day, but on days that I do my full 5, I'll often have like 1 loss and
It happens.
3 wins, and then the last one will be kind of variable depending on who I'm going up against.
All right.
Unless, like, if it's one of the days where like people are super active and I'm dropped down to 20, then usually I climb up with 0 losses.
All right, Decky, you're up. Let's keep the win streak going. I just won again, so let's keep going.
Okay, I'm just refreshing to see who 7 is. 7 is one of the higher powered guys, like strong guys. So I'm just gonna go against this guy.
Dragon Road.
So he's got 4, 5, and 6-star ships. He has no fast opening way to make big stomp, which means that Vader, Ahsoka, and JC are all going to be vulnerable early on to like target locks on the back line to try to blow them up with AoEs. Confused by the inclusion of Biston because Vader's the only target lock application consistent. Biggs is on a crit, Biston is on a 3-turn cooldown. So, not a very well constructed fleet. Sorry, sir, if you happen to be watching this at some point. But definitely a lot of improvement to be had there in terms of just comp and synergy.
All right, Grande, you're up on deck. You're going to have to keep the win streak going if Ducky wins here.
I know it. I'm working on it.
If you fail, you're out of the family.
So here, the two biggest targets are Ahsoka and Vader. Vader's gonna get his basic off before I can kill him, more than likely anyway. And even if I kill him, Biston will still go. So instead, I'm gonna try to target lock Ahsoka and kill her before my Maul comes out, so that she's not a threat there. Okay, and there she goes.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah, as you can see, this fleet, it's also very under-geared. I don't know, honestly, how it's managed to stay alive up here. This might actually be my fastest fleet kill ever. Granted, the dodge there didn't help it at all. But some target locks, because there's no major threats here right now. So I might as well spread target locks to get that extra damage boost. It helps speed things along in the future. Okay, pop that. And dead. Yep. Minute 23. Fastest win ever.
Best victory.
Granted, I normally play on ×2 speed. I'm playing on ×4 tonight because of the commentary.
All right, Grande. Let's do
All right.
Let's do it, Grande.
Number 1 is in a battle.
Uh-oh.
So I might have to go for Ewalkin's team.
Yeah, go attack further down so you're gonna so you get a win. So we can feel better about about increasing.
Ewalkin's in a battle too.
It's probably Ewalkin
probably
fighting
going for number
first.
1.
Everybody's battling right now.
Somebody's already battling you.
Ranger, back to you.
Everybody's battling.
Well, let me see if I don't have a battle for 2 minutes and 39 seconds.
I'm just hanging on. I'm just hanging on.
I guess.
Oh my god, what is happening? Everyone's fighting everybody.
Everybody's
Civil
fighting.
War.
Let's go to our lively chat here.
I know, yeah.
See what questions we have.
Yeah, I'm looking. It's like everybody died in chat. It's like,
Well, and we don't have the troll Trinity to generate some questions for us either, unfortunately.
Somebody is battling me, and somebody is battling everybody else.
Oh wow, okay. Okay. Well then, let's go talk about the fleet store.
Okay.
Have another good conversation there. Slot 1, Biston's Ewing, if you're going for a target lock fleet, is a great pickup. Poe is great if you've gone for a resistance fleet. He very rarely shows up there, so when he does show up, it's worth considering at least, right? Similar to Rex over on the far right, is up top right, is that he's so infrequent that if you think you'll ever use him in the future, then it's kind of worth it to save a little bit of extra currency to pick those up when they show up, just because they're so uncommon. Obviously, top centers where you're going to see your Scimitar, Slave 1, TIE Advanced, and those definitely you want to be saving enough currency that you can pick up those every single time they show up without fail. So if you're picking up the ones on the sides, I would say that those are what you would do with your 1,200 to 2,000 range of currency. That way you've always got enough to buy all 3 shipments in the center if they come up like 3 slave 1s in a row or something. Had it happened once actually, where slave 1 showed up 3 times in a row and I could only afford it twice, and I was very sad.
Sad ducky.
Coming down, Biggs. What?
I said you were a sad ducky.
I was a sad ducky. These 5 ship slots don't offer anything unique. They're all, as far as I'm aware, for sure, they're all stuff that you can get in Galactic War. None of them are like superbly powerful, other than like First Order TIE Fighter because he's top of the attacker list, Biggs because he's the most common tank. But both of those show up fairly regularly in Galactic War. So for the most part, I recommend staying away from these 5 slots, simply because there are better things that you could be spending fleet currency on. Echo is currently sitting in the Chirrut Imwe spot, so obviously you pick up Echo if you go on clones, but Chirrut is a good pickup there. You've got Maul over on the right side here.
Cody also goes there too, doesn't he?
Yeah.
There's a few.
Oh, okay, true. I guess so. Yeah, Cody and Rex isn't there though, is he?
Yeah, he popped.
Or is it always? Oh, he is. Okay, so it's been a while since I've seen him there.
I think Rex is in that spot.
Okay, for some reason I thought Rex was in the Boba spot, but okay, so yeah, so this is the clones plus Chirrut location. Boba, obviously, never pick up Boba from the Fleet store, because he's so easy to get in the Cantina store. I've actually been picking up Grievous over here,
Yes.
on the left side.
And just that one spot though, right?
Yep. Yeah, because he's so rare in that one spot. If he ever gets a rework, I want to have him ready, and I actually unlocked him last night, just off of this. So there's that. Then these 4 slots, you've got the Sunfac and the Geonosians show up with Boba's at, as well as these 2 Geonosian slots. Very easy to just forget about those. If you're wanting to build up Sunfac, Guild Store is a perfectly acceptable place to pick them up.
I will tell you that on it, when I was really working hard on Sunfac, I think I may have bought 1 or 2 Sunfacs in here just because.
So did I. Yes, because sometimes I'll be upwards of 3,000 or 4,000
yes.
currency at the time, and so when I was focusing on Sunfac, I picked up a few here as well. It's just unless you have like pressing needs like a Jin or something that only shows up in the Guild Store, then I feel like since he's usually not somebody's main line tank, you can usually afford to slow farm him from Guild Store. And then gear, we had a lively discussion several weeks back.
Yeah, let's not get into that. Let's do some more fights.
Okay. Because gear is where I was actually wanting to head.
No.
Oh, no. Well, you don't want to talk about gear?
I don't want to talk about gear again.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
Gandhi, do you want to talk about gear?
I kind of do, because I think that there's a discussion to be had here a little bit about gear and even about Zetas. And about what I'd like to hear Mageduckey's opinion on buying gear in these slots, and what your thoughts are.
Hollow projectors are 8 energy, as are Carbantes, so those aren't worth it. It's cheaper to farm those with like double 50 and double 100 crystal refreshes than it is to buy them from shipments. So I don't think that it's worth it to buy them from here. Better things to spend your crystals on. Stun cuffs. Stun cuffs are roughly an even trade in terms of shipments versus double 50, double 100 refresh. So in terms of crystals spent overall for the 50 salvage.
Mm-hmm.
So I tend, because I need so many of them for Chirrut and General Kenobi, I've been buying them from here simply because it's not a ton of Zetas overall. It's 600 tokens for 5 stun cuffs. So a Zeta, one single Zeta ability mat is 15, 16 stun cuffs worth, right? 16 and like 2/3 or whatever stun cuffs. So that means 320 stun cuffs for 1 Zeta upgrade. That's questionable depending on who you put the Zeta upgrade on. But I'm not doing it over that large of a scale, right? I'm just doing it in small chunks as I have the spare currency.
Sure.
To help move the regular farming along. I also did have to get the Mark 7 shield generator salvage out of this slot right here because it would not drop, and I needed Vader to be gear 11 for my arena team. So selectively getting things in addition to regularly buying stun cups is my recommendation. The exception of Carbantes and hollow projectors because they're not working. As well as the syringes, I guess, because those are challenge gear.
And what are your thoughts, Grande?
So I only buy gear here if it like finishes off a piece. Like if there've been some times whenever maybe it was like I needed 2 of something, like maybe like that Blast Tech weapon salvage, and I was like, oh, it sure, and especially if it like moved someone up a gear level, then I would do it. Would totally agree on the salvage, on the challenge gear. I wouldn't buy the challenge gear here. I would never buy the purples here. I always forget about stun cuffs in this location, and maybe so I might be taking Mageduckey's advice on this. As I just keep thinking that, you know, character shards or ship shards seem like they're more important, and so I tend to go for that stuff at the top, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's where you're at.
Data.
Yeah, it's where you're at with
And
your
then-
characters and stuff, right? If you don't have Churd or Darth Maul or any of these people, oh my god, can't really get them anywhere else. So it really behooves you to get character shards. You know,
And I am getting Chirrut from like whenever Chirrut shows up in the slot, I make sure I always have currency to buy it. I will admit, while trying to gear up Kenobi, I did buy a few sets of Carbantes here, even though they're challenge gear, simply because I was trying to rush it along. I've been struggling against Zol for the last month, and I'm tired of it. I just want to be done with it, switch over to the Rex lead. And so I guess I'm saying I did buy a few of them, but that was out of desperation, not because it's good efficiency.
oh my god, Grande,
I have a battle up.
Grande started fat. Go, Grande.
Oh no!
Go,
Grande.
Grande. We'll see. I mean, it's after payout, but it's just practice, right?
Yeah.
Shoot him
And then I do have one last fight as well after he's done.
That's right. I got another fat. Get your questions in, guys.
Yeah, Late Pick says that he buys stun cuffs and stun guns when he has spare currency, but he prioritizes Chirrut and exclusive ships. And I'm in the same boat. Problem is, for me, Resistance X-Wing plus TIE Fighter are the 2 most common. I mean, that would be true for everybody.
So this just shows you a huge difference on what a couple of target locks make. The couple of target locks made a huge difference in this battle.
Are you wrecking face right now?
Well, I'm doing much better than I did the last time.
Okay.
That makes sense. So doing much better.
Okay, yeah. Watching the stream a minute into the fight, before the first reinforcement. Presumably, you were up 5-3. Granted, they just leveled it to 4-4. But
Shoot first order.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a good. It just shows you how much difference the RNG can have in a match, and how much difference it can make.
Especially based on around target loss specifically.
Yes, a target.
It's so core.
Yes, it can make an incredible difference on the battle. I mean, here we go. It's 5v2 that are on the board right now, which is highly unusual considering I got wrecked in the last match, and it's the same. This is against the same opponent, so it kind of shows you a difference here on what this can do. Trying to spread a little bit of target lock around, and trying to get to that. I don't know if I can get to it. Trying to get to that TIE Fighter pilot. It's really hard with all the buffs.
Honestly, TIE Fighter for last.
Yeah, but the thing is, if I had targeted it, it would have
I see
targeted.
what you're trying to do. Okay, I didn't see that. I thought it had the buff on it.
It would have targeted. I mean, here we are.
Because the AOE, yeah.
Because of the AOE.
Yeah, so with ships like Ahsoka after Evasion Up and TIE Fighter pilot, I often, because I run Biston and it's can't be evaded while he's stealthed, I'll often target those guys with a Vader and Biston, even when like there's somebody else I want to kill, simply because it can't be dodged. So I'm guaranteed to get damage across without giving the enemy captain shit turn.
Right. This battle, I only had to bring in one reinforcement. In the last battle, I was dead before I even got at the gate. I mean, it's just such a crazy RNG thing.
Yeah.
And I can usually tell in the very beginning of the battle whether or not it's going to be a good battle or not.
Okay,
Yeah, whether.
here's a question from Adrian Bochenik. What is the best defense to ship combo? Working with the AI and their typical skills and reinforcement order. What works best to fail the least?
Well, he means fall the least. Yeah, what works
Fall
best
the
to
least,
fall.
okay.
Fall the least. Well, okay, if you're running bigs,
What's interesting is we all have different opinions on this a little bit, but yeah.
Well, it just like if you're running bigs, if you don't want to fall very far, you want a fast target lock application. Right? As we saw in my first fight of the night, I lost simply because his first order TIE pilot was faster than mine, got the target lock, and I couldn't touch his back line. All right, I couldn't apply target locks for Boba's AoE. I couldn't strip him down quickly with just like basic focus fire. Nothing. I had to go through bigs. And so if you're running him, having TIE Fighter pilot or first order TIE pilot, ideally, to accompany for the quick target lock. If you don't have those, then either Biston or Vader are mandatory to get the early target lock off. You could try for a bit of a tankier fleet. Maybe go have like 5s on the starting lineup so that Maul drops retribution on 5s. But I'm personally not a fan of that because 5s is going to burn through retribution very quickly due to generating 20% turn meter every time he attacks with his basic. Well, I guess he attacks long. So I prefer to go with someone like Boba because he does more damage output. He's not going to burn through it as fast. The only risk then you run is that Boba's going to die before dropping seismic charge.
Exactly. It's a risk reward thing.
Yep. But the AI is going to drop retribution, as we saw in the one fight on Vader, on whoever is the tankiest ship at the time.
And the reason why that worked is because I had already had to focus on 5s, and so therefore Vader was the tankiest.
Yeah. And so the thing is the AI is very limited right now, and fleet battles are more complex and have a lot more depth to them than regular battles. Because regular battles, you could be like, oh, I'm resistant, so I just want to spread expose and then pop that. Well, the AI doesn't handle that, but assuming it did, like that's pretty easy, right? You just get an expose on somebody, and then you make sure you shoot them next, and boom, AI is good to go. Here, it has to factor in when is the right time to target lock versus focus down a key enemy who's going to mess up your reinforcements. It only pulls reinforcements in order. It's not flexible with reinforcements. And so if you put Maul first, and they know that Maul is first, they can dean up your 2 tankiest ships so that Maul drops retribution on Consular or Ahsoka or somebody that you don't want it on, and then suddenly they blow that one up really easily and then have access to everything because everything's self all at the same time.
Yes.
So there isn't really one best defensive fleet right now because of AI limitations. So I would instead, you do need to focus around that. Make sure, on defense, if you're running bigs, don't rely on 5s to trigger bigs taunt. That's the start of that. So you can do basic considerations along those lines. But
the best thing to hold is not necessarily the ships. But it's to make sure. I think it goes. Let's go back to even basics that are even more basic than this. Make sure that you have your characters starred up and geared up, and then make sure that you have 4-dot or 5-dot mods on your pilots, and make sure that those mods are geared up, are leveled up as well. I think that a lot of you won't drop nearly as far if you have some of that stuff done, and then make sure that you focused on, we don't have very many ships, right? So if you look at it, the ships that are collectible are really what? We maybe have 27 ships that are collectible.
25.
And so if you look at those ships, there are certain ones that are better than others. Make sure that you focus on those ships, and make sure that you've kind of given yourself the best advantage you can possibly have.
Let's do a battle.
All right.
I apologize. Yeah, we do have 29. I don't know why I said 25. I'm going crazy.
All right. Who are you going after, Ducky? What rank are you going for?
Oh, the guy in 5th. 1 up.
All right. What?
It's after payout, so I'm just going for the guy who's closest to crew rating, roughly equivalent crew rating. So here, no Ahsoka, no immediate threat to Maul's retribution, so I'm going to try to go for Vader. Fail. There's the target lock. Lots of lag, just for the stream.
That's what it does.
However, I mean, there's his base, dead.
Yep.
Because he has Vader to target lock, and then he has nobody to follow up with additional target locks to heal. So now here I could drop expose on Vader, but he's about to get protection up from Jedi Consular's assist attack. So instead I'm going to start working on Boba to focus him down.
Dun, 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 dun.
There's Ahsoka.
Yep.
Okay. Target lock on her. Go with basic to try to heal up Biggs. It did happen once, pardon the lag. Only once. And what basics here, because there wasn't a target lock to use strafe.
Right.
I almost never use strafe without a target lock. There are a few
it's
really like every 2 weeks, right? You'll be in one fight where every 2 or 3 weeks where it's like, man, I need to use strafe now, even though it's going to go on.
But it has to do with the fact that the turn meter on the other character, or it has to do with
the high level threat of that character is such that I have to prioritize them over caring about the future. And usually it's when I'm losing the fight and I'm trying to catch up. And in order to catch up, I have to take out, one key enemy like Ahsoka, right? And I've left Maul reinforcement for last. Now I'm running Ahsoka, and they have Ahsoka, and I have to kill her so they don't spell retribution or something. So something where it's like it's a very key attack, then I will. Here I want to strip. I was hoping to strip turn meter. Now you notice I'm avoiding TIE Fighter pilot. He's damaged because Boba did retribution, but I'm avoiding him because I don't want to.
There's a possibility
him to dodge and grant turn meter.
Exactly.
I want to avoid that. But now we're going to seismic charge because why not? And unfortunately he dodged, which makes you sad. But see there, I made a mistake. Biston was stealthed. I should have targeted first for TIE Fighter pilot because he couldn't dodge. So here with Vader, I'm going to target TIE Fighter simply because he can't dodge.
He can't dodge on those events, on those attacks.
And the dots are going to kill him. So I don't even care that Maul just did retribution necessarily because Vader's up soon. Oh, and everybody's target locked, so I can just do that. The AoE. Plus, okay, so retribution on Consular is like a joke.
It's like it's non-existent.
Yeah. So I don't here. I don't even care that I'm attacking that. I just brought in TIE Fighter pilot to bolster.
Because you need damage dealers are just fine. Yeah, yep. Exactly.
I wasn't in a place where I needed to sustain from sunback. So there are all of my battles for the day. Ranger, do you have another one?
I do, and there's another question from Adrian in there. I don't know if this was asked or answered before. Is the capital ship count towards Gar Saxon's speed passive?
Does the capital ship count towards the passive? Don't know. Honestly, in order to test that, we need somebody to use Tark against the capital ship, go into a fight with a Gauntlet, and have a situation where the Gauntlet will go faster than one of your ships if Tarkin counts, and it will go
slower than another
slower
one.
If it doesn't. Yeah, and just do that. Make sure there's not like an enemy 5s or something that would screw that up, and then run it just once and see. I've yet to get somebody to test that.
I haven't seen videos like that though. So
nope. I probably could. The trick is, well, is because like I don't have anything invested in it, so it's going to be slower than everything else that I have, unless I throw in a second, like the ghost.
I'd have to drop way down, or have to ask someone to throw in a team to make it work for me.
Yeah, and so my guess would be that it doesn't, because once upon a time I was told that Rex's cooldown was not augmented by having mace, but then more recently I was told that Rex's cooldown is augmented by mace. So I personally lack in clarity because I can't test because I have a very limited roster. That's something I guess if you are a whale out there, if you have Rex leveled up a bit and you've got mace, if you have Gauntlet that you maybe have invested a bit into, if you could message me on Discord or even on the forums so we could get that worked out, that would be
I
fantastic.
have mace and I have Rex and I have invested a little bit in Gauntlet. I mean, not like a lot. The problem is it's not a lot, right? So I've got the Gauntlet at 60.
What's its speed though?
So the Gauntlet right now speed is 109.
109. Okay, and what? How much flats? Oh, I guess you get. Okay, I guess the 20 is that. How much have you leveled up superior maneuverability, the unique?
Let's see, which one is that? That is
because you get the flat 20, so you're at 129. But then, how much bonus speed do you get for each active Empire ally?
+1. So I've got it leveled up to level 3 right now. I'd have to level it up to 70 to get it. I'd have to level it up to 70 to get it to the next one, which is an additional +1 speed.
Yeah, well, yeah. So you get +3 if it's only on level 3. You get +3 speed. So that would mean that if you're running.
Hey, what's up, man?
Oh, hello, Shadow. Let's see. So if you ran Tarkin, Vader, TIE Fighter, would be 9, would put you at 138. Do you have any ships who are 136 or 137 speed? A maxed out Cassian or Kylo would be around there.
Kylo Ren.
Although actually, I guess Kylo won't, because while he has protection, he has the bonus.
Kylo's 114.
But he's 114, but he's unique.
He's the Phantom is 125. Geospy is 112. Resistance Pilot is 138.
That's okay. So you would have to level Gauntlet up to level
70.
70, so you could upgrade to the +4. At which point you would then get you would then be either 141 or 137.
And I won again.
Would you be willing to do such in the name of science?
Let me see. So Biston is 131.
But he gets the 20% up to 20% speed boost.
That's not going to work.
Grande really doesn't want to invest in the Gauntlet.
I'm just not sold on it yet. You know, I like them to be farmable. I don't know.
And that's perfectly valid. That's definitely valid.
You know, it's like, oh.
Or is it?
Geonosian Soldier is 133.
Not quite there. Wait, hold on, 133, and that could actually work. So you said your Gauntlet is 109 plus the base would be 129. If you ran Gauntlet without Vader and TIE Fighter, then it would be 129 without Tarkin, 132 with. So didn't you have somebody who was 131? No, that was Biston. I thought you had somebody who was 130, 131, something like that.
Oh my god, this math is making my head hurt.
I do, but it's only Bistan. Bistan's the only one.
Okay. So yeah, so the only way to test that. However, you could go ahead and at least test Rex, and then we could just make assumptions
based on it.
that Gauntlet works the same way. So you said you've invested heavily into Rex?
I've invested heavily into Rex. Yes, his ship is only his ship is not quite as heavily invested in yet. So his ship is Rex's ship right now is.
That's okay. You just have to.
It's 4-star in one set. It's 4-star, but it's 140. It's 148.
Okay. Well, that's fine. You So for Rex, then basically you just, because the cooldown doesn't change on his crew ability with any of the upgrades, so if you just throw him into a team with Mace, count the number of Republic allies that you have, and then use the ability his first turn, and then wait until a second turn and see how many it has. Keeping in mind so that if it says it's a 6-turn cooldown with no other Republic ally, so that might actually be the best way to test it then, is do Mace with no Republic other than Rex. If it says 5, then Mace does not count. If it says 4, then Mace does count.
The math is hurting my head on a Sunday.
Okay. Okay, so how does it do Mace
All right.
and Rex and 4 non-Republic?
Okay, so I'm just going to refresh so we can do it. So here we go. We're going to battle. So you want Mace as the fleet commander.
Yep. And then Rex and 4 non-Republic.
Hold on, let's go against.
You're probably not gonna win. It's more of just a testing thing, so something that'll survive. Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna take out 5s.
And then you're gonna have to attack again at some point tonight, so you don't fall.
Oh yeah, I know.
This, like, garbage team.
I know. It's not the greatest team. So that's Rex.
I mean, I guess it wouldn't be complete garbage.
No. So now I only have 1 Republic because Biggs is not considered Republic.
Yeah. No,
now, does it matter? Does it matter what's on the what's on reinforcements?
No.
Because I have 1 Republic in reinforcements, which is Jedi Consulate.
No, it shouldn't. It would probably be safe to take him out just to technically rule out all other possibilities.
We're gonna remove him and we're gonna put in Poe because
But it shouldn't.
Because Poe is not Republic. So now we just have 1 Republic ship and Mace.
Yes.
Here we go. We're gonna try this.
Well, this is where Grande gets slaughtered.
This is where I am gonna get slaughtered.
Hey, honestly, losing is, well, if we don't care if you lose, which you probably will, all we care about is that Rex gets to activate twice.
Okay. So it's not Rex's turn yet, but Rex's turn is coming.
Correction. That Rex gets to activate twice and isn't ability blocked on the second
All
activation.
right. So now it's Rex's turn.
Okay. So you use the
Second ability.
the crew ability for turn meter and protection recovery.
Okay. So we're gonna use this ability, and I guess we're gonna use it on. Doesn't matter. We use it on Boba.
Yep. Okay. So long as Rex doesn't get killed, that's all we care.
As long as Rex doesn't get killed, we'll do fine. So we'll bring in a reinforcement. And we'll reinforce. We will use retribution on Boba. Okay. So now it's Rex's turn again.
Okay. What does the cooldown say?
3.
What?
It says 3.
Shoot something! Anybody fire!
Sure?
I mean, it's on screen right now.
No, I'm still full screen. It just got onto the. Okay.
How many turn cooldowns is it supposed to be?
It's a 6-turn cooldown, so it should say 5.
No, it's 3.
Or 4. It should say 5 or 4, right? Because
yeah. If Mace counts, it would count it as 4.
Because I took everybody out. I mean, I don't have any. I mean, I only have 1 Republic ship in. We even took it.
Okay. So it says for each other Republic ally. You don't have to do it like now on stream, but my guess would be that it's bugged and it's counting for itself. If you do Akbar lead or Tarkin lead with no other Republic ships, I bet you it'll say 4. In which case Mace does apply, but so does Rex, meaning it's bugged, and we don't know if Mace counting is intentional.
Wait. So Rex counts himself and Mace.
Potentially, that's what it looks like, but he shouldn't.
Well, no. He is going to count himself, because if we go into the mechanics of it, it's going to work the same way as like Geonosian allies do, and they count themselves
But the ability says for each other Republic ally, so it's not supposed to count it. If it is, then it's bugged.
No, it's not bugged. It's the way they code things. I've seen this.
If it says each other, then it doesn't include themselves.
Right, I agree. I'm just saying. I know if we go into the big mechanics, like if you go into SWGOH and you look at how the mechanic works.
I know, and I'm saying that those mechanics tell you how it is, not how it's supposed to be.
Right. It means that it's a problem in their wording.
No, it's a bug in that it's not coded properly. It's not supposed to count himself, because if it counts himself, apparently himself and Mace, then you could use his ability every single turn in a full Republic League. Because that would be 6 people.
Oh, that would be
you would completely refresh the cooldown right now because he's bugged. What it is supposed to be is, I'm fairly certain it's not supposed to count Mace either, in which case it turns a 6-turn cooldown into a 2-turn cooldown, so you can use it every other turn.
I think I'm actually going to win this battle.
Nice.
Even though I put in my not so great, even though I put in like a new team, right? that I don't use.
But so Rex is definitely bugged, at least in as far as he counts himself, which he shouldn't. It might also be bugged in counting Mace. That we don't know, because there are other abilities that say, like, for each rebel ship, or for each this type of ship. I think the most notable, I guess, would be Gar and Rex.
So let's go back and look at his ability and reread his ability.
Oh yeah, I had it pulled up. I'll read it to you. His ability reads: Rex is ARC 170 and another target ally gain 50% turn meter and recover 50% protection. This ability's cooldown is reduced by 1 for each other Republic ally.
Yeah, so
it's not supposed to count himself.
And then if we look at SWGOH and we look at the mechanics.
Well, yeah, it does. It probably does count himself. I'm just saying it's not supposed to.
Look at right. But we look at the ship. So let's look up Rex's ship, right? And let's look it up. So my guess is that in the mechanics for this, in the real mechanics for it, we don't get to see mechanics for ships, do we? Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do. So
come down here. It says recover current target, recover for all from ally side who are alive and his affiliation Republic.
Right. And this is how I've seen it before. So in other words, it doesn't have a way to but -1. So basically it's if you have the Republic tag and you're on that side, you get counted. So that means it's counting Mace and it's counting Rex, which is why it was a 6-turn cooldown. So it was my next turn, so that would have dropped it by 1, and then it got dropped by 2, 1 for Mace, 1 for Rex. Is that are we seeing that correctly?
Yes. So it currently is reducing for Mace and Rex. At the very least, it should.
We went all Roy Jenkins on that, but anyway, yeah, I agree.
And I am of the personal opinion that it should not be counting Mace, but we have not had any official clarification from the devs since the ship's launched abilities are supposed to factor in the fleet commander.
And they should, right? I mean, it's on the side, it's on our team. So now the next one was Gar Saxon, right? That was the Gauntlet is what people were asking about. And so what they're asking about is do they gain speed? So if we look at the view mechanics, and we come all the way down here to the bottom, it's going to say
says for all affiliation
empire, which means it's going to work the same way. It's going to include,
which means that for right now, Gar Saxon. Yeah, right now, Gar Saxon applies himself. He's not supposed to, so don't count on it. You can abuse it now if you want to, but it will get fixed because that's not how it's supposed to work.
So I'm trying to think of an ability where the ability doesn't count the individual. Like, can you think of an ability in this game anywhere that does
Where
work?
it says other.
Where
Yeah, there
okay.
are lots of
So
abilities that say other.
So then let's look at that in the mechanics. Let's think of one that says other.
I'm actually okay. Let's go to R2D2.
Okay, let's go to R2.
I think his would work.
So let's go to R2D2.
Okay, nope. I'm sorry, because his specifically says for each Republic ally,
Right.
for each ally,
So
then.
So let's go.
Okay, and then he says at the start of battle, when R2D2 revives, other droid, etc. allies gain his stuff until it's defeated. So number crunch mechanics. And it has to be at the Theta level.
Yes. And it's going to say.
If we scroll down, it says for all from ally side who are alive and his affiliation rebels. So it would target himself with that as well, even though it says other.
Yes, and the reason why is because they don't know how to do all of this minus one. Does that make sense? Like,
well, I would say it's probably more a limitation in the coding that they have right now.
I agree.
But then like they don't know how. But it's definitely none of this is working as it's supposed to.
Either that, or they need to change the description. One of the two, right?
And it's more than just R2. Like I know because I've looked at them before on other characters. I can't remember them right now.
Geonosian Spy counts himself, for example. If we look at Geonosian Soldier,
Shadow.
The character?
Or
the ship?
No, the character. I'm talking about Geonosian Spy. I'm sorry, Geonosian Spy, right? It says, here's what it says. It says, whenever a
Geonosian ally inflicts a negative status effect, but that doesn't say other ally. So that is supposed to include himself.
I'm just saying that and if we looked in the view mechanics on this, it would be the same way. So it would, if we came all the way down here.
Yeah, it's going to say the same, but we're arguing two different things. You're trying to argue this is how it is, and I'm not denying that. What I'm saying is that's not how it's supposed to be. Because of the wording on the abilities.
Right. And I'm saying is the ability bug, we're going to lose like half the viewers on this conversation. Yes. But actually we gained viewers. Don't ask me how.
You say potato and I say potato. And you say tomato and I say kiss my ass.
I will ask.
Right. So
I will try to ask and see if
you will ask.
Or if they need to go through and update a bunch of different
my guess is it the description that's wrong, or is it the mechanic that's wrong? We obviously agree that there's something that's not correct, and it's just which way they want to fix it is all that matters.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah. So to answer the actual question itself, yes, Gar Saxon and the capital ship both count for his speed passage, which means that actually right now you have Gar Saxon, Reaper, Advanced, TIE Fighter Pilot, and Tarkin, which means that his max possible speed is actually going to be the fastest in the game.
Now let me go fix my arena, my ship's arena team.
Yeah, really. I don't leave it. Gar Saxon's ship is currently the fastest ship in the game. If you run the other three available Empire ships, he's not supposed to be, but he is. So feel free to take advantage of that until they clarify it one way or the other.
All right. So I'm not seeing any more questions.
I mean, we've been going for an hour and a half anyway. So
we've gone a long time.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and end it. Ducky, if you would just be so inclined.
All right. For the record, I don't have any planned way of saying this, so I'm just going to kind of say it. Due to some personal issues that have come up, they're pretty unavoidable. I regrettably am unable to continue streaming on Sunday nights for ships. I'll still be around in Discord on the RSG Discord server, Guardians, Alliance. I'm kind of all over the place, as well as on the forums. I'm always available to chime in on a ship's discussion, offer advice on a roster or a fleet comp if you want, or just talk ships in general. So I'll still be around. I'm still going to be in the community, but I am unable to continue streaming. So my apologies.
We're gonna
But
miss.
it's been a good run.
And we're gonna miss you because I know it is always fun.
I'm not going to miss
to
him.
have- oh my god, I like having the guy around because I don't know I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get the rest of my nerdness in.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
who else could I have had that nerdy of a conversation with?
Me,
Um,
but that's fine.
I don't know, for the guy that calls it potato and potato when we're talking about mechanics.
so, but you will be around. We just won't be streaming, and I'm gonna miss that. And I hope that whatever is keeping you from us, maybe it'll change in the future because I know we'd love to, have you back at any time. And you're, as far as I'm concerned, you're welcome anytime on anything that I'm doing. Anytime you get a chance. So. But yeah, we'll be doing something different, I guess, on
Yeah.
Sunday nights from now on.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll keep rocking and rolling. Um, but that's real life happens.
That
I
it
mean,
does. I mean, it's why I was missing the Wednesday streams was
yeah,
because of swim team.
yeah.
I'm not even on swim team.
I'm gonna miss Ducky too. It's been great having him on here with the ship stuff. It's been quite impressive. Um, do check out his stuff, guys. He does have some stuff on. I think it is Reddit that you have your ship guides and stuff.
The official version of the two guides are on the official forums.
Oh, they're on the
And
official
the guide
forums.
section.
Yeah.
And
Outdated copies can be located on Reddit, but they are outdated.
it looks much better on the forums too. Just the
Yeah,
way
yeah.
the
Spoilers and stuff, yeah.
the way it works on the forums looks really
Now,
good.
yeah, I know you were planning on updating those. Have you updated those, or are you still in the process of updating those?
Yeah, still kind of in the process of going through and updating. It's that is a work in progress simply because of other stuff going on right now as well. So
Right. So,
yeah.
so do check that out, and of course, you can always find Ducky in the Discord. He will still be around to answer your questions for ships and stuff. So, but moving forward, we're not sure what we're going to do on Sundays. I'm not quite sure. I think maybe what we may do, and I've got to talk to the Trollfinity and everybody else that helped makes this stream happen. What we're going to do, guys. But let us know in the comments if you want us to keep doing the ship show here in the comments. If you wanted to try to maybe do something else, we do have the other two shows that we have that cover Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. We can incorporate ship themes into those, the Wednesday stream and the Saturday stream. So I'll leave it up to you guys what you guys want. If you want us to start streaming something else, we can. We've already started doing some Diablo. We're looking to do some other games. So you guys let us know what you guys want us to do. If you would like us to continue, by golly, we will find a way to do it.
We may end up changing the times or something,
Yes,
but
yeah, but we will definitely. If you guys really love want to keep the ships, put a comment in the actual after the video post. Put a comment in saying if you want us to keep the ships or to see us get into something else. We do this stuff for you guys, so it's definitely on you if you want us to keep doing this or not. So we listen to you. But if you like what you see and want to support the channel, Sunday with Shadow.
Sunday with Shadow.
Oh, that's an idea. Please subscribe, like the video. You can check us out at our website at realityskevedgamers.blogspot.com. You can buy merchandising at cafepress.com at realityskevedgamers. Got a lot of cool stuff up there from the streams. We've got t-shirts and all kinds of things on there. And then we've got you can check us out on Facebook and Twitter. So that being said, on behalf of myself, Mageduckey, Grande Patron, the great Gandalf beardless one himself, who we were able to get out of prison for a little while to help us do the show. Thanks to everybody for stopping by. We really appreciate it. And you can check us out next on Wednesday, where we don't know what new fun and exciting things CG's going to throw at us. Should be, what day is that going to be? The 3rd? So it'll just be before May the 4th. So we should have some idea of maybe what they're going to be doing that day. So definitely check out our Wednesday streams. We break down all the latest Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes stuff with some really great panelists. We've always got Loki and Smithy and all kinds of people that show up, besides myself and Grande and Finn, who are always doing this. So thank you, everybody, for coming out. We really appreciate everybody here. So we will check you out on Wednesday. So on behalf of myself and the rest of the crew, and a fond farewell to Mageduckey, who we will miss. We will check you guys out on Wednesday. Talk to you later.